So, Rick, why don't you go ahead and start us off with your topic?
Okay, well, mine's pretty general. We'll start from the top. I want to know what your guys' initial thoughts on the Nintendo Switch are, and what you guys think about the new Joy-Con controllers. What do you guys think about the actual? My main point is the docking system. I want to know your guys' thoughts on that, but we'll go into that a little bit more later. And just the overall feel of the console. What are your guys' thoughts on that?
Ashley, would you like to go first?
Thank you for being such gentlemen, Jesse. So far, what I've seen is quite positive. However, I did have a bit of worries when I saw the detachable controllers. I thought that they looked a bit too small, because I saw this around Twitter a little bit around the time it was revealed. Like, how are we gonna play Smash with multiplayer on that? And then I thought that the Pro controller looked good, but I'm very much hoping that the Pro controller isn't as expensive as the Wii U one, because I was hoping to get it around with Smash, and because I have a Wii U. And the saddest thing about all of this, the one thing that I was very unhappy about all of this, is that I'm gonna have to throw away my Wii U, and I just got it.
I mean, first off, I don't think you'll have to throw away your Wii U, because a lot of the games are, and we'll go into this later, a lot of the games seem to be enhanced versions of Wii U games that are going to be launching on the Nintendo Switch. But games that are some of my favorites are like Wind Waker HD and Twilight Princess HD. Unless they're downloadable on the Switch, there's no way to bring your current disc Wii U games over to the Nintendo Switch. So, as far as like unhooking the Wii U and making room for the Nintendo Switch, there's going to have to be room for both of them on
Oh great, another problem.
But like with the initial reveal, I thought the trailer was very similar to the Wii U reveal, where it started out with the guy in the living room playing on the Wii U gamepad and it going to the TV. This was pretty much the same. The guy's playing the Nintendo Switch and it's showing up on the TV once he docks it or takes it out, and he can take it as a handheld. And I thought this was a perfect reveal for people to understand what it is. It's a handheld that you can take with you, or you can dock it and have it hooked to your TV and take off the controllers, play like that, or you can have the actual Switch Pro controller, or whatever they're going to be calling it, and play like you would a PlayStation 4 or Xbox One or just a traditional console. As far as the Joy-Con controllers go, I don't think, like, I wouldn't personally prefer to use them over using, say, a traditional controller that comes with it, but it is nice to know that you have, like, if all you're buying is the console itself, and you don't have the $40, $50, $60, however much the second controller is going to be, to know you have that option to have multiplayer in games like Mario Kart, or be able to unhook them and slide them on that attachment controller. I'm not really sure what the actual name of it is, but you see it like just like the thing that the Joy-Cons can slip on.
The Joy Grip, I think is what they called it.
Yeah, being able to do something like that, I think it's really nice for those that won't be able to afford a second controller after paying presumably around $300 for the system and $50, $60 for a game. So knowing that the option is there is really nice. Again, it's not going to be my preferred way to play it, but the fact that you can do it is really smart with Nintendo. And then there's also been a debate on whether or not they're going to have some type of motion control functionality. So if they do end up porting certain Wii games, maybe you can use these as Motion Plus controllers or something similar in case they decide to do like a Skyward Sword HD or something with the Metroid games.
Mm-hmm.
I am hoping for Metroid.
Yeah, so I mean, there's a lot of great possibilities, and they showed enough to make everybody interested. I noticed a lot of analysts are predicting that it's going to sell pretty much as in 1 year's time. It's going to sell as much as the Wii U did its entire life, pretty much, because I think the Wii U is at like around 12 to 14
million.
Yeah, million units. And the prediction is that the Nintendo Switch is going to sell around 13 to 14 million on its first year, which I can see. As far as everything else goes for it, I really don't know what I could say, because I'm sure there's a lot that they held back or they didn't reveal on purpose, like the motion controls, whether or not it has a touchscreen, battery life, the resolution of the screen, which probably 720p. I don't really know. They did say it's HD, but they didn't say like specifically if it was 720, 900 as the one rumor suggested, or 1080.
Yeah.
Well, a question that I've actually, or not really a question, but kind of assumption, is that I don't really know if the Switch is going to have amiibo functionality, because Nintendo softly confirmed it, because basically Breath of the Wild's going to be on the Switch, right? And they said that they're going to be Wolf Link amiibo is going to be compatible with Breath of the Wild. So they've slowly and softly confirmed that amiibos will be able to be played on the Switch.
Yeah, I think they actually,
or maybe they're going to do a 3DS and have a reader for the amiibos.
I believe they actually did confirm it. I can't remember when they did. I think they had an interview with somebody, but they did confirm that there is going to be amiibo support for the Switch.
Yeah. Because the person that was playing Mario in the trailer, there was the amiibo beside the console, and some IGN, Game Explain, Kotaku, someone reached out to Nintendo and asked about amiibo functionality, and they did say that it would be. They didn't
say what games?
They didn't say that, and they didn't say whether it was going to be like something you plug in via USB or if it's going to be on the controller itself, because then if it's on the controller and you have it docked while you're playing with the Pro controller, how are you supposed to get up, walk across the room, and then like dock the amiibo on it? So it doesn't really make sense for that, but I'm sure they'll have like a USB, or even if it's like a Bluetooth adapter that you can just turn on and connect and then dock the amiibo on there. It'll be on the Switch, but we just don't know how just yet.
Yeah, I actually think there was a patent not too long ago that came out that was a Bluetooth, amiibo reader, basically for, they don't have a console that we don't know exactly what the blueprint was for, but they do have something that came out that looks something that could be on the Switch if it doesn't have a touch screen or something similar to the 3DS and how you use them on there or whatever.
Yeah.
Basically, all of the leaks were right, so why not that one?
Yeah. Rick, you wanted to mention something with the dock earlier. What exactly were you wanting to mention about it?
Well, I just wanted to go over your guys' stuff real quick. Ashley, I do agree with you. I am a little worried about those those Joy-Con controllers being a little too small. I've got really, really big hands, and I saw some size comparisons of the Nintendo Switch compared to the iPhone 6 Plus or even the 3DS XL. And that screen's going to be small, so I can only imagine those controllers are going to be small. But like a lot of the stuff that you said, Jesse, they've got more options for you. You know, you got the Pro controller and you've got the Joy Grip that you can put the Joy-Con controllers into. So I think a lot of people, the Joy-Con controller, splitting them apart is just going to be an option. They won't even use it half the time. I know I won't. As for backward compatibility, I personally, I think if we're lucky, because there's so many people that bought a Wii U, like, that can't now have all of these games on Wii U that they're not going to be able to do anything with, and if they want to get rid of their Wii U, they can't take those games and put them onto another console. They might make it so we're able to transfer over, play them virtual console. I don't know. They haven't done that in the past, I don't think. Could you do that with the Wii?
I don't think so.
I don't know.
Because I know
I did see there was an article earlier. I think I read it on IGN, if I'm remembering correctly. That somebody reached out to a Nintendo representative and asked about backwards compatibility with the 3DS and Wii U discs.
Mm-hmm.
And they said that it will not have physical backwards compatibility, so your Wii U discs and your 3DS cartridges will not be able to work on the
I'm
Nintendo
a little bit
Switch.
sad about that because I
But-
thought that the 3DS cartridges would be perfect for the Switch.
Yeah, but they did say that whenever they were asked about like virtual backwards compatibility, they said that they had nothing to announce at this time, and more information would be given before the launch of the Nintendo Switch.
Okay.
So I think that's going to be obvious because they've made tons of money on virtual console. Even some of the Wii games were ported to Wii U and launched on the virtual console. So
Did Skyward Sword get ported? Or has that yet to be decided? Okay.
Yeah, it has. I mean, what's the best way to get you to buy games that you've already bought before? You make it so you can't transfer them. So, you know, Nintendo is notorious for doing that. I know it's even difficult with the 3DS. Like, say if you go to GameStop and you're trying to go trade in your old 3DS so you can get a new one. You technically can't go and trade that 3DS in until after you buy the other one if you want to keep all the downloaded games that you have.
right, you have to do the system transfer.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a very smart system like Sony and Microsoft have with PSN and Xbox Live, where you can take your gamer tag and then re-download those games later. Yeah. So, you know, I really hope they implement something there, and it would be a little bit of a fan service to all of us if we can get some of our downloaded games that are compatible or have a Wii U virtual console on the Switch. But I kind of feel like it's almost unlikely to happen like right at the beginning, only because of the fact that they're trying to get far away from the Wii U branding and the Wii branding. I think we're definitely going to see ports like, you know, the Mario Kart 8 or Double Dash, some people like to call it because of the extra item on the side from the actual trailer. But anyways...
I did want to ask, I haven't played Mario Kart in a little bit. Is King Boo a character in Mario Kart 8? Oh, so then maybe that's going to be more DLC.
And also on the map where you can see the other characters driving around during the Mario Kart thing, you can see Dry Bones, who also isn't a playable character in Mario Kart 8.
Dry Bones, not Dry Bowser.
Yeah, I believe it's Dry Bones. I may be getting that wrong. It was I was watching, I think it was IGN's analysis of the Nintendo Switch, and you could see like a little head icon for Dry Bones. But yeah,
anyways, I wanted to get your guys' opinions on, you know, a lot of people are concerned about the strength of this console and how good the graphics are going to be and how well they're going to compete with Sony and Microsoft. And at this point, I mean, personally, I feel like they don't compete with them. They don't compete with them already. They haven't been for a while now. But do you guys feel like the dock, because they're saying they're putting more emphasis on the actual tablet being the console? Do you guys think the dock is going to have something to increase the power when you plug it into the dock and have it go up to your TV, or do you guys feel like it's just going to be a standalone console? What are you guys' thoughts on that?
I think it would be stupid if Nintendo did not do this. If not on the initial launch unit, then in a few years when it is time to upgrade, they would be missing out, because as far back as like the Famicom or the NES, the Super Nintendo, the Nintendo 64, and I think it ended with the Nintendo 64, there was always some sort of expansion that would let you improve.
GameCube did it too.
Okay, well, even the GameCube. There was always some way to improve the graphical fidelity or just the abilities that the original console had. The NES had the Famicom disk system to where you could, it made certain sounds better. It added a little bit more processing power, I believe, and it gave you the ability to actually save your games. And whenever they brought it over to the NES in America, you already had your way of saving. Like, for instance, Zelda, you could save your game without having a writable disk drive. And with the Super Nintendo, they had the Satalia view, or whatever it was, to where you could get certain games or upgrades on your system. The Nintendo 64 had the disk drive that failed, and then they later launched the extra RAM that you could upgrade. And it would let you play games like Majora's Mask, Perfect Dark, Donkey Kong 64, and certain others.
It was called the expansion pack.
Yeah, the expansion pack. It added, like, I think it was just 4 more megabytes of RAM, but it was enough that allowed you to play these games that you otherwise wouldn't be able to. And I'm not sure what they had with the GameCube. I know they had
nothing to increase power, but I thought you were referring, before you went on, I thought you were going to refer to the whole portable thing, being able to actually plug Game Boy games, because they've been doing that for a very long time. They've been trying to mix it.
They had the Game Boy and Game Boy Advance player that you could play those games. They had the internet adapter that you could play certain games through with the GameCube, and I thought they could have something with the Wii U, like if they
did they have anything for the Wii?
No, the Wii was just the Wii, and then the Wii U was just...
It was perfect only by itself.
Yeah, which I don't really think they had any problems with selling more units with the Wii, because it
was already the pop star without any extra add-ons.
Exactly. And with the Nintendo Switch, if the base model that we see now is just what we're going to get, and it only lets you charge or add in USB slots or connect a larger hard drive or whatever, then I think at launch that might be enough, but it would be nice to see them go back to their old ways, to where you can have some sort of upgrade when you connect the two. Because on that small of a screen, taking it on the go, 720p would be perfectly fine. 1080p or anything else would be better, but 720p
imagine 4K on the go. That would just be what?
Exactly. Like anything 1080p or anything like that would be, more's better, but 720p is perfectly fine on a screen that size. But when you dock it, like I was just thinking, if you go and look at the trailers, like Breath of the Wild looks amazing, but it would look more amazing if it was in a higher resolution, as anything would.
What if actually the difference is that on the go, it transfers down to 720p, and then on the TV, it can allow 1080p?
Yeah, well, that's what we're saying is like if it does do that, then like that would be great. It would because Nintendo did say, well, they had two separate answers that I'm aware of when they were asked at E3 about Breath of the Wild being on the NX, which we now know is the Switch and the Wii U. There was one statement where they said there was not going to be any difference between the two, and then there was another statement where they said the only difference would be visual. And since we can assume it would be stupid to release a new console years after the other console that would be a downgrade from it, we can only assume that it would be an improvement. So whether that's like more particle effects or more characters being on screen at the same time, or a higher resolution, or even if it's a higher frame rate, it could be any of those things. But yeah, or it could even be something as simple as like a farther draw distance to where you can see maybe 1.5 times as far or twice as far as you can in the Wii U version before the fog starts getting so dense that you can't see anything.
Are you referencing Minecraft? Because that's the same thing that Minecraft does.
Well, like Minecraft does it, but it's something they do in a lot of games. Like if you play Turok 64, the fog gets so thick after only like 10 feet in front of you that you literally can't see anything. A lot of games, they won't necessarily use fog. They'll just have like pop in to where once you get so close to something, they'll just pop on the screen, and once you get far away, they'll just disappear. So
yeah, like the Happy Mask salesman at the end of Majora's Mask.
Exactly. Like different games have different ways of doing things. Skyward Sword had a great way of doing it to where instead of something just disappearing, it would kind of fade into the background to make that painting art style. That was because of the Wii's limitation, but hopefully the Switch will be more powerful than the Wii U, and we won't have to deal with anything like that.
Yeah.
It won't hopefully, it will be powerful, because playing Breath of the Wild on the go, come on.
See, the thing is that the Tegra chip that NVIDIA has come out and said that's in this console. Now, nobody knows exactly because they said it's a custom chip. From what I've looked at, if everybody's going off of the Tegra X1 chip that they've come out with, which I'm certain this chip is more powerful than that. But if you take that for a reference point, the Tegra X1 chip is a bit more powerful than a PS3 or an Xbox 360. The Wii U is a little bit stronger than a PS3 or an Xbox 360. The Tegra X1 chip falls somewhere in between those 2 points, so or a little bit after the Wii U. Now I can only assume that this new custom chip is going to be integrated a lot more, and Nintendo is notorious for optimizing their games and making their UI work pretty well with the limited technology that they have nowadays.
Yeah.
Except
so I'm
for
just
Hyrule
hoping.
Warriors Legends. I wanted to play that
it's a
game
3DS
so
game.
badly. No, it's better on the new 3DS rather than the 2DS or the 3DS. On the regular 3DS, it's basically as slow as mud. Whereas on the new 3DS, it's perfect.
I would think that would just be due to hardware limitations of the old 3DS, but you never know. But they do pretty well with optimizing their games for their UI, like a lot of games actually don't do. And I've played a lot of PC games, so I've seen a lot of games that are not optimized at all, and I've got a pretty good graphics card, pretty good CPU, but they still run horribly because they don't take the time to optimize the game.
Right. A big example of that was when the new Batman game released on PC.
Exactly.
And you could have a computer that was 3 to 4 times as powerful as a PlayStation 4, and it would still look better and run better on PlayStation 4 than it would on a $1,000 computer.
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting because I've never really played Batman games.
And I
It
think
was-
Nvidia even made a statement saying that that this Tegra chip that's in the Nintendo Switch is on par with their latest GeForce graphics card. So I don't know what that means, if that's a mobile side or if that's just a straight general graphics card side. And they're talking about the what is the newest one, 1080?
Yeah, that's their new king of the road.
Yeah,
GPU.
exactly. So if it can compete with that, which I highly doubt it can, if it can compete or stand up with anything similar to that, I'd be amazed. But I'm hoping that, like you were saying, Jesse, seeing them come out with maybe an upgraded dock or an upgraded tablet later on down the road would be really cool. And I believe they've even made comments about the NX being more of a family of systems.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken, they've made a comment about that in the past. So maybe they just come out with the tablet portion of it, and then they have the docking system that's, you can play it at home if you want to. Next year they come out with a docking system that actually increases the power of the console.
Yeah, and we've seen like with Sony and Microsoft, they have their like half step into the next generation to where it's a brand new console. Like the Xbox One S is a little more powerful than the Xbox One. The PlayStation 4 Pro is about twice as powerful as the normal PlayStation 4. And then next year, the Xbox Scorpio is going to come out, which presumably is going to be like the Xbox 2 or whatever they end up deciding to call it. And instead of having these half steps or releasing a total next generation of console altogether, if Nintendo just released like a new docking system as an upgrade, so instead of paying $300 to $400 again to get a new console,
Which I've said in the past is a horrible waste of money.
if you have the initial console that you bought, and 2 years later you can just pay $100 or $200 to get the new dock that now is 2, 3, 4 times as powerful as what the Switch base model can do. And now suddenly, instead of being able or being limited to games like Breath of the Wild at 720p, if it allowed you to play at 1080p, or if while it was docked on this 2.0 dock or whatever it ends up being called, if it does allow you to upscale your game to 4K, then I think that would be a great way for Nintendo to go. That way, instead of forcing you to buy, like upgrading from a DS to a 3DS, you can just pay half the price for the dock, and then you get all of the benefits that you would. Yeah, and you'd get all the benefits that you would from this new console. Like something as little as the transition from the 3DS to the new 3DS. For such a small improvement, like it's not even twice as powerful as the regular 3DS. It's just minimal enough to where you can notice the difference, but not enough to make it that much of a leap. Making someone upgrade from the 3DS to the new 3DS and paying that $200 to upgrade, if they did something like that with the Nintendo Switch, to where it was a minimal upgrade and they made you pay another $300-$400 to get this new version of the console, I think they would lose a lot of fans. But if it was just the $100 or $150 and you get the upgrade to where you're just paying half the price, and I think that would be like the best way Nintendo could go. And it would also fall in line with what they used to do whenever they offered the expansion pack for the Nintendo 64, like we were talking about earlier, to where now suddenly, instead of being limited at 720p or 30 frames a second, now you get 1080p at 60 frames a second.
Yeah, and they in a marketing aspect too, it would be pretty smart because they've had it in the past, like you've said, with the expansion packs. But then, like, even with the Wii U, a lot of people thought it was an upgrade to your Wii.
Right.
You know, in that sense. And I'm sure if it would have been marketed that way, you know, they probably would have sold a lot more of them. And if it actually was an upgrade instead of, you know, a whole new console,
and it
like
actually
what you're
had
saying.
Games.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
I'm not saying that it doesn't have games now, but it should have had games at its launch, like the Switch will. I almost said NX.
Yeah.
That's gonna take so much getting used to.
Yeah, it's like everyone that went from calling Zelda Wii U to Breath of the Wild. It's gonna take a month or two for us to start getting used to this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's basically all I have to say on the console itself. Is there anything like final thoughts that you, Rick, or Ashley would like to say on this?
We didn't get to talk about my games.
Oh, that'll be on the next topic.
Oh
Yeah.
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 No, I'm finished up here. Those are all my thoughts, basically.
You guys go ahead and introduce yourself for those listening.
Okay,
Go ahead,
Rick, you
Ashley.
first.
Okay. All right. Hey, everybody. I'm Rick, otherwise known as RMFH, and you guys know my whole spiel by now, I hope. But if you guys want to find any of my content, just, you know, type in RMFH in YouTube and at RMFH Gaming on Twitter. Ashley?
Okay. Hey guys, it's Champion Ashley, and I am apparently not dead. However, I was hoping that I wasn't because my channel has been going through a drought. But hopefully, after everything that we're talking about today, I will not be in a drought. So my channel is basically all about theories and a series that I am currently working on that's called Lore of Gaming, which is basically talking about the entire central lore of a particular series.
What's up, everyone? This is Jesse, and welcome to the Inslate. I would like to thank you for watching this video. If you're a fan of my Zelda or gaming news, theory, or discussion videos like this, please consider supporting this channel by donating through patreon.com/GameOverJesse, where you can get new videos early, be able to join on discussion or theory videos, get shoutouts, and tons of other great rewards. Thank you all so much for allowing me to do this, watching my videos, and especially you Alex Myers, Jonathan, The Itch Network, and John Frank for your support on Patreon.